Hi, my name is Talha Parkar, and I will be taking you in the next 20 minutes through all the topics that we have covered in Excel so far. I will not be going in detail in each topic. I will tell you which topics we have covered, why those topics are important, and how you can use our supplementary online courses to supplement your learning experience so that when you come for the next Excel session, you're well prepared and well equipped with the foundational topics. So, in Excel, without any further ado, coming back in Excel, in the link that has been shared with all of you, the Excel folder has two folders, Excel 2024 and Archive. We've been doing all practice files or all exercises from the Excel 2024 folder. You can double click on that folder, and in that folder we have multiple topics. We have not covered all the topics so far, but the first topic that we had covered in the first session was navigation, right? So each file or each folder has the practice files along with the PowerPoint. So I'll not take you through the practice files right now. I'll show you the PowerPoint itself. So in navigation, which was the first session, the focus was on covering, let me just go full screen. The focus was on covering different shortcuts, how you can hide and unhide the ribbon, how you can see a list of all your sheets, how you can move between one sheet and the other sheet by using shortcuts, how you can move between cells, select them, selecting multiple cells, selecting an entire column or a row, zooming in and zooming out, and freezing panes, right? That was the initial topic that we had covered. So as you can see in the PowerPoint, all the shortcuts, all the notes, all the screenshots are available for your reference, right? So to hide the ribbon, for example, the shortcut is Control Shift F1 and Control F1, right? To see a list of all your sheets, you can right click on the bottom left corner on the arrow and it will show you a list of all your sheets. Similarly, across all the topics, right, across all the shortcuts, the screenshots are present, the notes are present, along with the practice file for your reference. Along with the practice file for your reference. So if I open 1.1, for example, the 1.1 Excel, so in this file you have a sample data set on which you can try to do all the shortcuts one by one. So when I press Control Shift Function F1, it hides my ribbon. When I press Control Shift F1 again, it brings my entire ribbon back, right? Similarly, if I press Control Space Bar, it selects my entire column. The idea of doing these basic exercises is that people are aware of the shortcuts and at the same level of understanding of Excel, right? Now, if you want to go in depth in understanding, or if you want to revise this but you don't want to follow the PowerPoint, what you can do is you can log into the online courses that all of you have been given access to, right? And in those courses, to understand Excel shortcuts, Excel basics, I will recommend one course, which is this one, right? So there is the Excel Bible, Mastering the Basics. You can do this course. All of you, those who are enrolled for the program, whose all email IDs I have enrolled you on the platform. In case you've not been enrolled so far, you can share your email IDs with the HR and they can guide you, or they can share the email IDs with me and I can enroll you for the courses. You will have access to this till the entire 6-month learning journey goes on, right? So Excel Bible, Mastering the Basics, and the other course that you can do, you don't have to practice everything. Even if you just watch the course, enough it'll be good enough for you to come for the next session in which we'll be covering a little more advanced topics. The other that you can do is Excel 60-second tips. Excel 60-second tips, right? Even in this, there are short 1.5 minute videos on different types of shortcuts in Excel. Different types of shortcuts in Excel, right? So you can just run through all of these, practice them, right? There are a lot of tips and tricks available here, right? You can have a look at all of them as per your convenience, right? Coming back, then in the next session in Excel, what we essentially did was we moved on from navigation. Ideally, in the first session itself, the next topic that we covered was data cleaning and data preparation, in which we started with the very basic topic, which is text to column. We explored all options of text to column, right? So we started with the basics of text to columns, right? We explored all the options available in text to columns. Then in the next step, we moved on to flash fill, which is a very interesting option available in Excel, wherein I give it a sample and it extracts the output for me. It generates the output for me. Very important to remember that flash fill cannot write a formula for you, right? It works basis the sample that you give, right? So there are multiple examples around flash fill, and after flash fill, the next section or the next topic that we talked about was, let me just open that. Right. We went directly into text cleaning functions, right? So now that we've seen how text to column works and how your Flashfill works, we went around and also understood how these functions work as well, right? So we did a bunch of exercises around all of these text functions such as left, right, mid, finding the length when it is not a regular text, where for example in cases of names, right? So the same logic can be applied, right? Then we went around and looked at different functions such as concatenate, concat, text join, trim, substitute, char, char with undefined space where you cannot remove the space. A lot of times when you copy data from a PDF or from a file, in those cases it becomes difficult to do it. Then we looked at repeat, exact, and a bunch of other functions, right? So you can go through this file if you want to look at more complex problems, right? These are part of 3.4 in the data cleaning and preparation file. So in this we did a bunch of additional complex problems, right? We did not cover all of these, right? There was more of a demonstration. These are available here for your reference. If you find there is a use case, you can obviously go back and practice. And assuming that all of you have the latest version of Excel, which I'm sure you guys have, you can practice all of these as well. You can practice all of these as well. Right? Perfect. Moving on, after data cleaning and preparation. So we looked at navigation first, which is the basics. How do you navigate a data? Then how do you clean and prepare your data? Then we move towards some sort of analysis, right? So we covered different functions in Excel, right? So in terms of functions, there are a lot of functions available such as SUMIF, COUNTIF, aggregation functions, right? Different functions in count as well. But before that, we understood different error types in Excel, right? Once we understood the error types, then we looked at count, count A, count unique, and count text. Different kinds of functions available in Excel, right? In the PowerPoint, all the explanation is available, right? All the formulas and the screenshots are also available for your reference. There is a separate solution file as well. So we did all of these examples hands-on in the class. All of us were able to perform these examples, right? And after we completed these, right, we did count errors as well, is error as well, and we did count instances as well, right? Counting the number of instances for when, so in cases of vendor payments and all, when you want to count how during a specified time period, how many payments has the vendor made, you can do a count instance, or you can use COUNTIF to do the count instance. You can use COUNTIF to do the count instance. Then we looked at subtotal, which allows you to filter on, get the total on filtered data. Then we looked at, after subtotal, we looked at aggregate, right, which is a little more advanced, more powerful function compared to subtotal, right? Different options available in aggregate. Then post that, after aggregate, we looked at the large and the small function that allows us to extract the top 3 values from the dataset. We looked at this using 2 functions. The old method was using the row and the indirect. The new method was using the sequence function, right? Now, again for this, if you want to look at different functions available, so what you can do is you can come to the website, and once you log in, you have access to all the courses, right? Whatever we are covering during the program, whatever we're not covering as well, that those courses are also given to you. And to understand functions, you can open this one. So for data cleaning, you can open this one, Master Excel Data Cleaning and Preparation. This will cover all the data cleaning functions available to you, right? Right? That'll help you understand all data cleaning functions, right? Then the next thing that we did was, after we completed functions, we then moved on to the next topic, which I remember we covered VLOOKUP, right? Now in VLOOKUP, we did all the examples. There were less number of participants during the session, but that is absolutely okay, right? But the variety of examples that we covered, let me just show you. So we started with the basic VLOOKUP. In the same sheet, when you have 2 tables where you have to do the VLOOKUP, how do you do the VLOOKUP? Remember, in the VLOOKUP, the last argument, which is range lookup, where you write 0, 1 or true or false, if you do not put that argument, it will by default pick it as true, which is going to give you an incorrect result. So always put 0, because in 90-95% of the cases, you're trying to do an exact match, right? Then we saw how we can use dollar signs to apply a formula on the same sheet. What are the different errors that happen when you write a VLOOKUP function, right? What happens when you add a new row? Does it get picked up? How do you do a VLOOKUP by selecting the entire column? So these are the basics of VLOOKUP. So if you're aware of this, you can skip this, right? Then we saw how approximate matching works, right? How you can create the table, right? And in each of these PowerPoints, there is, for example, for fuzzy matching, when you have to match text, right? For example, I have to match, maybe Justin Ritter is mentioned here as Justin Ritter, but over here Justin Ritter is mentioned in a different format, J Justin R or Ritter Justin. So in that cases, the formula which is fuzzy matching, fuzzy lookup helps me do that. So we've given the supplementary learning here as well from in form of our YouTube channel, right? Then we looked at if error function, how it can help you add values, right? Show a different value when there is an error. Then we looked at a little more complex examples of how you can do VLOOKUP between two sheets using sheet name, right? Generally, when I do a VLOOKUP between two sheets, the sheet name is going to come in. What we did was we used the concept of name ranges. So in your Excel, besides the formula bar, you have something called a name box. You can access that from the formulas tab and the name manager tab as well, right? So we did this wherein we gave our data set a name so that I don't have to go to the other sheet to apply the VLOOKUP. This concept is called range names, right? So we did this example, which is very helpful so that you apply the VLOOKUP by staying on the same sheet. Then we looked at dynamic column number, wherein we use the match function to identify the position of the column, and then whatever column is selected here, output changes by default of that, right? We created a data validation as well, which is creating a drop down, right? Then we looked at how to get multiple results using VLOOKUP. Write one formula and get multiple results. You can use an array inside a formula by putting the column index number argument. You can put the column index numbers in curly brackets, and that gives you multiple results in one formula. Then we looked at multiple columns with match. Then we looked at multiple columns with match where you're making the headers dynamic, right? So there are different examples. Then we looked at index plus match, which is a very good alternative for VLOOKUP because it allows you to look to the left of the data as well. For example, here I want to get code and number of branches. In this case, VLOOKUP will also work because my code column, which is my lookup column, is to the left, right? But in cases where, how does index match work here? In index, you select the column from which you want the output, and in match, you choose the value that you want to search for, right? But in cases where the data is to the left, for example, name of the bank is to the left of the lookup column. So in this case, VLOOKUP will not work. So in this case, an index match is what helps you. An index match is what helps you, right? Then we did index match with dynamic column number using the same concept of range name so that I don't have to go and manually select the range. I can type in the name that I have given to the range, and the formula will automatically understand what range of cells I'm referring to, right? Then after this, we looked at XLOOKUP as well. We did a bunch of examples in XLOOKUP. XLOOKUP is much more powerful than VLOOKUP and index plus match. Not all of you might have it in your versions, but if you have VLOOKUP and index plus match, those are good alternatives, right? How can you get results from XLOOKUP using multiple columns, right? When the data types are different, how do you do it? So we covered a bunch of examples in XLOOKUP as well, right? A bunch of examples in XLOOKUP as well, right? So this is what we have covered so far, right? This is what we have covered so far. We've also done conditional statements, right? We've also done conditional statements. So by the time the PowerPoint opens, on VLOOKUP, again, on the website, you have a course, so Excel VLOOKUP function. You can do this course to enhance your understanding of all the VLOOKUP functions. Apart from the content that I've taught in class and this course, you will never need to do anything else to understand VLOOKUP, index plus match, and XLOOKUP, all these functions, right? Because if you look at the topics covered, these are similar topics that we've covered in the session as well, right? So everything is covered here: index plus match, VLOOKUP, XLOOKUP, and also bonus content. In conditional statements, we covered how to use if with, and if with, or, so that when there are multiple conditions and criteria, you can collaborate and get the best results. Get the output basis multiple conditions. You can get the output basis multiple conditions, right? You can get the output basis multiple conditions, right? We did a bunch of these examples as well, right? So again, on conditional statements, we don't have a separate one for that, but it'll be covered in either one of these courses that you do, right? Now, since we've covered all these topics already, what are we going to do next, right? So in the next or upcoming sessions, what I'm going to do is, we have in conditional statements and in VLOOKUP, I have some more advanced examples left, which are excellent when you want to collaborate data or prepare data for a summary or presentation view. Then we're going to look at how to use pivot tables in Excel. Then we're going to look at how to use and work with charts in Excel, which is going to take some amount of time, right? Which are very long and lengthy topics, and we cover a variety of examples. I would encourage all of you to bring your own problem statements, share your challenges, so that we can cover those in the class as well, so that it helps you immediately implement in your area of work, right? That's all from my side on the recap for the Excel session. Thank you. Looking forward to see you in the next session.